they might make it to that Western Conference Finals.
Ooh, the all-elusive Western Conference Finals for the Clippers. Is it possible? Thank you for downloading and listening to West Box Score. I'm Alex Gonzalez, joined once again by my compadre, Diba Donald Paz. What's up, Donald?
Yo, what's going on, Alex? How you been, brother?
I've been good, man. I've been good. Excited watching playoff basketball. Only one team from LA is in the NBA playoffs, and we're going to get to our special NBA playoff correspondent in just a moment. Before we get started with that, I got to ask you to please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at WestBoxScore. Our other compadre, Sonny Mano, has a podcast called the Fox Crate Podcast. That's where vinyl meets culture. There's a lot of great discussion there if you want to step away from all the LA sports universe here and just listen to some music and people chop it up about music and vinyl. And also, Deba, we have a ever-growing Discord group, huh?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, man, shout out to the Discord group. Shout out to everybody that's in there. If you want to join it, feel free to. I mean, we'll definitely put the link on our show notes. And there's some people that have hit me up about like the link not working. If it doesn't work, please just like DM us on Instagram or Twitter, as Alex said, at WestBoxScore, and we'll definitely get you like a fresh link or something. I don't know with Discord, like why it does this whole, you send an invite and then someone uses it and then it somehow expires after that. I guess it's supposed to be like a security measure, but we're really trying to grow the community, so we kind of need like everybody to join. We don't need like exclusivity in that sense, So
that explains why Sonny hasn't joined our Discord group, right? The link's not working. That's a convenience for him to not join up on our Discord. We'll send you a fresh link. Also, check out our fresh link for a fresh coffee.
Yes,
Sailor's Brew coffee right here in our description. It helps us out if you use our link, use our code. Sailor's Brew is a good coffee based out of Pasadena, and they're up and coming themselves, right?
Yeah, they are. They definitely got some good blends of coffees. Like you said, based out of Pasadena, some amazing coffees. They got a new light roast out right now, which is really cool. I like their medium roast.
The best
It's my
roast,
personal favorite. But yeah, shout out to Sailor Brew, Trayvon, JV, all them, and yeah, check it out and support the show. Support us. If you get it through our link, you definitely help us out. So again, like outside of rate and review, outside of joining our Discord, you definitely check out Sailor's Brew Coffee, and in a way it helps us as well. So thank you guys.
Thank you guys. So speaking of support, Clipper Pablo, welcome to West Box Score again. Thank you for being supportive and supporting your LA Clippers in the playoffs, man. You were in the building at Staples Center, right?
I was. Thank you for having me one more time. I'm glad to still be here, unlike other people.
What do you mean, unlike other people, still be here? What does that mean?
Well, when we first spoke about the playoffs, I think there was this thinking that both teams were still going to be in it at this stage, and some of us were wrong about that.
Some of us were wrong. Some of us, being every Laker fan, every Laker fan thought the Lakers would still be around here in the second round of the playoffs. But yet, lo and behold, only one team has won one game so far in the second round, and that is the LA Clippers. Going into this game at Staples Center, game 3 of the Western semifinals, the Clippers were 0-2. And you were worried, I'm sure, as a lot of Clipper fans were, right?
I was, yes, of course.
And game 3 starts. So what does it take us through a day in the life of Pablo? Game 3 going into that Staples Center game. What was the pregame? What ritual did you have? Do you have a pregame meal you like to have before you go see a Clippers game? Because this is your first Clippers playoff game in person, right?
Yes, so the routine was a little different than the Mavericks series. For that one, for every away game, I had this thing in which my girlfriend and I had to go to a restaurant and watch only the first half there. Then first half comes, we would walk back home and finish the game at home, and it worked every single time, I got to be honest with you. And then game 7, since it was a home game, I just watched it with my brother, and it worked out. So for this one, I'm just keeping it simple, just going with the flow. To game 3, I didn't do much in the morning. I went with my brother, and it was good to be there. There was a whole bunch of people. I think I heard that Staples had 10,000 people yesterday, and that's the most people so far in the playoffs. And of course, come Tuesday, it goes back to normal.
Yeah, it'll be full capacity for the following games, which would be not the next home game 4, so potentially game 6, right?
Yes, if there is a game 6, there will be hopefully a full Staples Center supporting the Clippers. Although I gotta say, there was a fair amount of Jazz fans at Staples during Game 3, which was weird to me. There was this group that sat next to me, so I was trying to be extra supportive of the team to kind of make them go away because it wasn't their seat. So they came up to me and they're like, "Hey, is anybody sitting here?" I'm like, "No," because I'm not going to be a dick about it. But then I figured, these people are clapping for Donovan Mitchell. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be as noisy as they are.
I thought with COVID restrictions, you had to only sit in your assigned seat, especially now.
Yes, but it was a fully vaccinated section.
Oh, wow.
So I guess it doesn't matter. But I will say this. They did check my vaccination card. I like Dodger Stadium. I hear Dodger Stadium, even if you're going to the fully vaccinated section, they don't care.
So do you show it on your phone? Do you have a picture of it on your phone, or do you have to have your actual card?
I had my actual card, and I think in front of me there was this girl who I think was trying to show them a picture of it, and I think they were kind of giving her a bit of a hard time. I'm not sure if she got to get in, but I just wanted to be safe and just bring the actual card.
See, what worries me about bringing your actual card is what if you lose it at the stadium? Like you could lose that thing. It's very important that you don't lose that.
Yeah, but I mean, to be honest with you, for someone who's going to the fully vaccinated section, I kind of appreciate them actually asking people for it because you never know. These people are going to be like, "Oh yeah, of course I got the shot," and they didn't. So if I at least make them go through the trouble of getting a fake card or something.
Going to Pacific in Huntington Park and getting your nice fake fully vaccinated card, yes, it's worth it. It'll be worth it. It's expensive because it's worth it. So, once you're inside Staples Center, you feel safe. You're in the fully vaccinated section. Do you have to keep your mask on in your seat the entire time?
Yes. So even though it is a fully vaccinated section, you have to have a mask on the entire time. I did see the ushers coming to people and telling them, "Hey, you got to put your mask on." And people were nice about it.
The mask police.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
But once again, I kind of appreciated it because if they're saying, "Hey, if you want to be here, you have to put your mask on." And they were very strict about it, which once again, I appreciate it.
It's a privilege, not a right, to go cheer on your LA Clippers, apparently. So
yes, I mean, there's just one team at Staples during the playoffs, so you might as well follow the rules,
Absolutely. And so because of the mask mandate at your seats, you couldn't enjoy a nice beverage while watching the game, right?
Yes, they have the vendors and food trucks outside, but if you're just going during halftime, you're either gonna have to down your beer or miss some of the game, and I paid enough to not want to miss any of it.
But which is a good and bad, which is a kind of a good thing, right? Because then you can now focus on the actual game while you're there. You don't have any distractions of funneling through eating nachos or funneling through a bag of candy to open up or what have you, or drinking your beer. It's just focus on the game. That's what you paid for, right? So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, whenever my brother and I go, we go for the actual game. There's a whole bunch of people who are for the outing. Oh my God, it's so cool to be here. I don't care who wins, who loses. Oh, we care.
That's awesome. So that being said, now getting to the actual game, what were your thoughts on how the game started in that first half? It was pretty close in that first half.
Well, yeah, it's funny because I was looking at this stat, and apparently the Clippers have yet to win a tip the entire playoffs. That's a lot of it because they're going small from the very beginning.
That's true.
And I think at some point they were down 8-0. I could be wrong about that, but it was one of those things that you just thought to yourself, "Oh, here we go again. It's going to be another one of those games." But then Paul George, my boy Paul George, turned it on. He actually decided to be the player that he's supposed to be, and man, he delivered.
The heart and soul of the Clippers, right?
Well, yes, because when I talked to you guys before the playoffs, I told you he was going to be the key. If he doesn't perform, if he doesn't give you the numbers that he's supposed to give you, it's going to be very, very hard. I mean, it's the second round already, so you need all your pieces to do what they're supposed to do. Kawhi Leonard will give you his points. He knows what to do. He always needed that second person to kind of step up so that it doesn't all fall on him. And if you go back to the numbers, whenever the Clippers don't win, it's because Paul George didn't perform to expectations. And yesterday, man, I think he had 32 points or something like that, and that's kind of what you need from your number two.
31 points. I also think from watching more Clippers, since I don't have to watch Laker games anymore now.
Nice, good for you, man.
I'm watching in a moral support. I'm not cheering them on. I'm like, I'd be happy for you, Pablo, because I know
it's okay if you do. I gotta say,
I'm not cheering them on. Trust me, I'm not. I can't, as a Laker fan, root for the Clippers, but I'm also not hating on them either. But if they do start like losing badly, like those first games, like ooh. Typical Clippers. I do have that. Yes, that's that angry, like bitter Laker fan in me that's still like, oh, of course they're gonna ruin it. There's the Clippers. But I was gonna say I was very happy for you yesterday because I know you were at the game, and they dominated this Jazz in that second half. It was incredible to see what they did there. So how wild were you and your brother going in that second half toward the end of the game?
Oh, I mean, it's funny because we came back home and he was going to go home too. And we both kind of lost our voices and we realized until we got home that, oh my God, we were screaming so much. Once again, I told you, for me, partly it was because of those guys who sat next to me. And I was like, hey, that's not your seat. So I'm going to try to drive you away. They never did. But yeah, I was definitely screaming. And every time there was a turnover, like yelling at them. And then Paul George, I wanted this so bad for Paul George, and every time he hit a big shot, I was like, yeah, it was very cool. It was nice. It was a shame that once again, because of restrictions, you didn't have a full house. But 10,000 people, I think we did what we had to do.
Do you feel because there's such less people that you have to overcompensate and yell even louder while you're there?
Oh, I think so. Yes. I mean, if you're watching all the other teams, like not just the Jazz, but like the Phoenix Suns, and they have a full house, man, it's different. It just feels different. You feel it. I'm sure the players feel it. So I think for me and a lot of the people in our section, we thought, we need to be a little louder than usual.
That's awesome. That's very true. As we have to be the extra player that give the players their boost, and be that voice that give them the extra energy that they need. So I appreciate that as a sports fan, and I really appreciate. I'm sure the Clippers appreciate that as players on the court, like hearing you guys just giving them that extra motivation. So are you motivated after this last game 3? Now 2-1. How do you feel going forward?
I mean, it's just one game. They're still down. So there's nothing you can do about it. You take it one day at a time, one game at a time. But I think they kind of showed what we've been expecting, right? Every game they've won so far, it hasn't been a lucky game. It hasn't been that the other team had a bad game. It's been that the Clippers have performed the way they were supposed to from the beginning. The problem they've always had is the inconsistency. They've been so inconsistent throughout the regular season that that's not something that you're just going to turn it on. So that's still showing. I think the fact that game 1 and 2, they were still in it toward the very end. That's very encouraging, especially when your number 2 player, in this case, Paul George, had such subpar games. So now, Game 3 comes along, he gives you 30, Kawhi gives you another 30, then you kind of start seeing, oh my God, this is the potential that we've been talking about this entire time. If they perform the way that they're supposed to, they're a very hard team to beat.
For sure, man, and that's very true. I was about to mention that to you. Games 1 and 2, very close games, as you just mentioned. So, how frustrating would that be if the next game He just doesn't. Paul George doesn't show up. What do you chalk that up to as why the Clippers lose? Like, is it just one player's inconsistency that just is a complete catalyst?
Well, I think it goes to show you what today's NBA is. You can't win it with just one person. I mean, look at all the other teams that are still in it. Like, look at Denver. There's only so much they can do about it because they're left with one superstar. You go to Phoenix, you have Devin Booker, you have Chris Paul. You need the two, and they both perform to the expectation. With Donovan Mitchell, you have him, and he's giving you 40 points in their wins. So I don't think I think at this point with Paul George, it's more of a mental thing. If things don't go right at the beginning, he kind of shies away from the moment. And I think a game like the one he had in Game 3, I hope it goes a long way for him to kind of show him, hey, this is the person that we know you can't be. Just block out the noise. Just go and be you. If you miss 10 shots, shoot another 10. Something is going to go in for you because you are that type of player, but you have to keep doing it. And he's also a very good defensive player too. People forget that he plays very decent defense. Mm-hmm. And if your shots are not going in, hey, you know what? Forget about it. Go back. But I think it was Game 1 or Game 2 when his shots weren't going in, and then he would miss his assignments. He would leave the wide open three-point shooter, and it's like, okay, now it's going into that other aspect of his game, and he can't let that happen. But I think if he performs the way that he did in Game 3, man, this is going to be it's going to be a good one.
Damn, AD physically fragile, PG mentally fragile is what it sounds like.
Yeah, but also that's okay. I mean, we've all gone through shit before that just affects our mental health, and he's just a person at the end of the day. You kind of do hope that he's working through it, and at some point he will get over it. But I don't blame him for having those mental breakdowns. It happens to everybody. But once again, he's shown that he's capable of doing this.
Is Paul George the player who last year said that he had a tough time in the bubble?
Yes. Okay. So he said that I think he was going through some sort of depression and that kind of messed him up, and people made fun of him because, we're sports fans. But
yeah, of course.
But, I think it kind of shows that it shows some strength to talk about it and to admit it. So if that's what he's going through right now, hey, man, there's nothing you can do about it. I hope you get better, but I hope he gets better soon.
Yeah, from a selfish fan's point of view, yes. Of course. Yeah. No, but as a person too, yeah, it sucks, man. Mental health is a tough thing that we do not talk about enough here as Latinos, as we've talked about before on this podcast. But that's number one. Obviously, if you're not mentally right, you're not going to be physically right. So hopefully he can mentally right himself personally, and then professionally that will come as well. D-Bot, did you want to ask Clipper Pablo one more question before we let him go?
Man, I feel like you guys covered pretty much everything that I think could have been said. I guess Alex already asked you about how you feel about the rest of the series, one game at a time, which is very true.
I don't have a prediction. I will tell you that much. I wish I could give you guys something like, oh yeah, Clippers in 6 or Clippers in 7. At this point, I don't know. I was just watching the Nets play, and Kyrie Irving just got hurt. So it's one of those things that, man, anything can happen. But I think if they keep doing what they did in all the games that they've won, once again, it's that team effort that shows up. If they do that, man, it's they might make it to that Western Conference Finals.
Ooh, the all-elusive Western Conference Finals for the Clippers. Is it possible?
Yeah.
Will you throw a parade? Will the Clippers put up a banner just for getting to the Western Conference Finals participants?
No, that's a dick question.
I wouldn't be me if I didn't ask a dick question to Clipper Pablo here.
No, but I think you kind of build on things, right?
Yeah.
And getting there would, even though it doesn't mean anything, it just kind of shows, hey, we're doing something right. You can't expect a team that's never won it to all of a sudden go from, not making the playoffs to the championship. So I think you kind of build on things here and there. And if they do make it, I think it's a huge thing for the team itself. I hope they do, but at the same time, before I say anything, you do have to remember that the Utah Jazz, they were the best team in the NBA. So this isn't something like, oh my God, even if the Clippers are the team that they're supposed to be, they're going to beat them. No, it doesn't work that way. They are the best team. And until you beat them, you have to keep putting the work in.
For totally, I agree with you. And just getting to the Western Conference Finals would be a huge achievement for the Clippers, having never been there before. But also, that road doesn't get any easier because you would potentially have the Phoenix Suns waiting for you in that Western Conference Final. So, I mean, the road to the championship does not get any easier for your Clippers, man.
Yeah, no, and I've said it from the beginning. If I'm not speaking from my heart, I would say that the Phoenix Suns are the best team in the West. And I don't see anyone beating them, but it would be nice to at least get a shot at them.
A healthy Lakers team could have beaten them. Sorry. Once again, I'm not speaking from my heart here. That's speaking from my heart and not my head there.
That's fine. We all do it.
No, but that's why I appreciate Clipper Pablo. Whenever you're on, you speak the absolute truth about your team. You're a realist when it comes to your team, a real sports fan who is not blinded by just sheer passion like I am usually, who looks at the stats, look at how his team is actually performing, and creates a level expectation for his team, which is always a good way to be about being a sports fan.
I hope so, man. It's worked out for me, and it makes the pain go away faster.
That and also booze also makes the pain go away a little bit faster for myself. But once again, I'm only speaking for myself here.
Hey man, whatever works.
Clipper Pablo, thank you again, man, for taking the time.
Thanks, man.
Chopping it up with us here. And good luck. In all seriousness, good luck to your Clippers the rest of the way.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys having me on.